the site of China's first Communist Council, and the moment when Mao Zedong was elected and recognized as Chairman Mao. His vision reenacted for visitors today, his message echoed through the decades to end imperialism and unify China. And that goal was to be achieved on the backs of the peasantry, who rose up to join the communists in China's civil war. They would eventually enter the gates of Beijing, but not until they finished fighting off the opposition Kuomintang army, who managed to corner the communists in 1934.
The Red Army had to make a decision, to surrender or make a run for it. They decided to retreat, all 80,000 of them, most of them peasants, and right here marks the beginning of the Long March.
Liu Jiangxi was just a teenager when the communists showed up in town. Swept up by their message of a classless society and the promise of land for the masses, he donned the uniform of the Red Army and joined the Long Marchers.
Everyone was in it together. It was the same for Chairman Mao. It was about sacrifice. That had a huge impression on us. If the leaders weren't afraid to die, why should we be afraid to die for our cause?
Liu Jiangxi survived the Long March. That's no small feat. And soon the land the communists confiscated from millions of landowners was given to people like himself. The farmers enjoyed their land for a decade, but in the 50s, a new plan, with the government forcing everyone to work together on giant collectives. It was a disaster that instead of enriching lives, led to famine and the deaths of millions. In the late 70s, China would try its third major attempt at land reform. Plots were returned to the farmers. But they never did prosper because the government's push for economic growth focused on the cities and not on the countryside. And 60 years after the peasant revolution, it's still about making ends meet for farmers such as Liang Chengden. He was born the same year as the founding of Communist China. He's lived right here, at the starting point of the Long March, his whole life. And aside from a few new things to help him out with his rice crop, the troubles remain.
They won't give us health coverage. We give up some land in return for health coverage. It's been years and nothing. This is my biggest problem.
Education is also a problem for his family. Schooling is supposed to be free, but hidden fees for textbooks, for supplies, mean Mr. Liang is constantly running short on money. While China's economy has grown so much over the last few decades, it's been the farmers, the ones who brought the communists to power in the first place, who've been left on the wayside. 60 years on, there are still 800 million of them, and they are still waiting for their promised prosperity. Melissa Chan, Al Jazeera, Jiangxi Province, China.